Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Information Technology Oracle Academy Open House. We're so excited that you are able to join us here virtually and learn about this unique opportunity for our students. First thing I'd like to start off with is just give a general agenda of what we are going to cover throughout this evening. First of all, we'll hear from a couple of staff members, and they'll give their perspective into the program. After that, we'd love to show off our new building that was finished over the summer and is actually still in the process of being finished right now. After that, we will go through the program details. What do we cover in the Information Technology Oracle Academy and how you can best prepare your application for when you send that in. We will then answer some frequently asked questions that I hear, and then after that, we will allow you guys to submit questions, and we will have an open question and answer session at the end. So right now, I'd like to take this opportunity to introduce our principal, Mr. Reynolds.
Good evening. This is Mr. Reynolds, principal of Havre Grace High School, and I'd like to welcome you to Havre Grace High School, as well as our magnet program, Information Technology Oracle Academy. It's great having you here at our school, and you should be really proud to be our first class in this magnet program. There is a lot of history here for the new school. This has been our new school as well as a magnet program. It's been 10 years in the making. It's taken a long time and a lot of careful planning, working with Hess contractors and the State Department of Education, as well as collaborating with Edgewood Arsenal and Aberdeen Proving Ground to come up with this program. It is, we have the best technology. It's going to be a great education for you. It's just going to be really good. Also, we have a great staff at Havre Grace High School. We had the Harford County Teacher of the Year 2 years ago, Paige Milanowski. We have Mr. Scott, who's going to do an outstanding job, and Mr. Hitchcock. But also our school, I'm proud of our school and the fact that we've had really high ESSA rankings over the past couple of years. So we have a lot to offer. It's an exciting opportunity for our students. In this program, you'll learn skills such as critical thinking skills, logic, learning how to collaborate with others. This program should really prepare you not just for real world jobs, high demand jobs, local jobs, whether it's for Battelle, APG, Edgewood Arsenal, but also help prepare you for the highest level universities and colleges. So we're really, really excited to have you here at our school. There's a lot of great things. I encourage you to not just be a part of our magnet, but be involved with our whole school population and get involved in all the extracurricular activities that we have to offer, whether it's drama, our outstanding band and our band and choral programs, as well as our highly successful sports teams. So I can't wait to see all of you when you start coming back to school. Okay, so with that being said, I'd like to send you back to Mr. Scott.
Thank you, Mr. Reynolds. Appreciate it. And so now we have a program that has been built. And now what I want to do is I want to bring our guidance counselor, Mr. Wachter, into the meeting to kind of share how you can best set yourself up for success through the future.
Good evening. I'm Andy Wachter. I'm one of the school counselors at Havre Grace High School. I work with students with the last name starting with A through K. And Jess Malley is our other school counselor. She works with students with the last name L through Z. Thanks for joining us tonight. As you know, these are challenging times, and one key life lesson we can learn is how to persevere. Anytime you face challenges, you have to find a way to cope and move forward. And it's great that you're able to focus on your future and show interest in the magnet programs and want to achieve at high levels. And that sounds like it's a goal that any student that's in a magnet program will have. Each magnet program presents its own challenges, but the rewards throughout and in the end, when you graduate, are worthy of the journey. The ITOA program is rigorous and challenging, but is also extremely rewarding. You will likely take honors and AP classes along with this program, but that's going to help you prepare for your college experiences and career beyond that. With proper planning, good time management, and positive engagement, you'll be successful. You'll also be able to participate in sports, clubs, plays, musical, and lots of other activities through school. We're going to be back at some point. We're going to be able to do those things. So make sure that you're staying active, you're staying involved, you reach out to your teachers, you be a positive sort of force with your peers. We're here to help you, Miss Malley and I. We help with college and career readiness. We're here for your academic needs and any social, emotional needs that you may have. So no matter where things go going forward, we're here to support you, and hopefully we'll get to see you at Havre de Grace High School. Mr. Scott?
Thank you, Mr. Wachter. Appreciate it. And so now I want to introduce our Vice Principal, Mr. Spence. He's going to actually give us a tour through our new building. Mr. Spence?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brad Spence. I am the proud assistant principal at Havre de Grace High School. I also act as the administrative liaison kind of to the program, working with Mr. Scott to troubleshoot any issues. I'm a member of the PAC, and I work hard and I'm excited to be a part of this program at our school. A little bit about myself. I am an alumni of Havre de Grace High School, so it is a great sense of pride that I get to partake in opening this new building and our new program. And we are extremely happy to be able to welcome our first class of the ITOA program into our building. We can't wait to actually get everyone back in and to play with all the great and wonderful technology that we have, and to hopefully have the students take ownership and show us how to use it to its best advantage. But as I said, my job here today is to kind of give you a tour of our wonderful new facility. So I'm going to double duty here and switch us over to the tour and kind of walk you through what's going on here. So here we go. So what you're seeing here is our grand entrance. What you're going to see is the stamped concrete here as you walk in mimics the Promenade Boardwalk in Havre de Grace. Our school does take a lot of community cues to make it look unique and to fit within our Havre de Grace area. As you walk in, again, you'll notice the wood flooring. It is a laminate file. It looks like our boardwalk. You have your main office here. This is our Main Street building. The guidance office is to the right. This is our wonderful pyramid steps where kids can sit, charge devices. It also acts as an area where you can look at the black box theater. This is one of our main hallways. This is our wonderful new Warrior cafeteria, Warrior Hall. We have some banquet seating, and we have actually some cafe seating where you can look out over our wonderful new dining area. We are now headed down to our F wing, which is where our music programs are housed. Would love to show you our auditorium. It is actually still under construction at the moment, but it'll seat 1,000. Mr. Scott's going to walk us into a band room here. Actually, I believe this is our chorus room, excuse me. But this is where our students, our large music program is housed. This is our band room. We have approximately 30 to 40% of our student body involved in music within our building. It is a sense of pride in our community. As we go upstairs, we're going to see our new media center. It has all the trappings of a normal library or media center with multitudes of books you can see, but we also have a wonderful view of what will be our grand entrance once the middle school is taken down, and tons of technology in there. It is on the second floor, and it actually oversees our cafeteria. We're now headed into the high school section. On the second floor our high school is the science and math area is on our second floor. What we're walking into right now, however, is in the front of our building, it'll be the Future Warrior Room, which will hold the 200+ years of history of schools in Havre de Grace. We have documented and kept many of our instances. This is a general math classroom here. On the wall, you will see we do not have projectors like most Harford County public schools. What we have are called box light boards, which are basically giant 72 to 84-inch tablets on the wall that run off of Android and Windows and can run any program we have for instruction and offer us tons of possibilities. Again, we're walking down here past some of our science rooms. These are our brand new science rooms with state-of-the-art technology, state-of-the-art science tools where students can learn and experiment. Again, these videos were taken as we were still moving in, so please excuse some of our clutter. But as we continue down, we see the breakout rooms and the tons of natural light. We are now on the third floor, which houses our humanities areas. These are our English classrooms. This is actually Miss Milanowski's classroom, our former teacher of the year. As you can see, tons of natural light that come into the building. There are a large number of whiteboards and seating options for students. Very bright. We can adjust the lights. And at the end of every hall, there's also these seminar rooms that you'll see on the right-hand side here. These are available for pull-out instruction. These are for small group instruction, for if a teacher wants to do extension activities, and they are fully furnished with all the trappings of a classroom, just in a smaller size. Mr. Scott here with his video is going to take us down to a social studies classroom. This is, again, and this is another social studies classroom here. Some of our lovely custodial staff working hard to prepare us for the school year at this point. So this is, I believe, our world history classroom. Yes, AP World History. As you can see, we're all set up and ready to receive students once we come back full in person. Now we're on the third floor B wing, and this is where our magnet program classrooms are housed. It looks down over our grand entrance. We love our sight lines and we love our views here. And as we walk down, there are art rooms on the right-hand side, and we have a digital art room with computers to create digital art as well as and this is actually Mr. Scott's room. What you will see here for our ITOA program is there's monitors all around the room where students can plug in and work on their skills and their database skills all around the classroom. Excuse me, we have our box light board on the wall, and then there is a instructional area in the middle there. So lots of options here. We have 2 of these rooms available to us. One is currently housing one of our math teachers who will be able to utilize it for also computer science. Excuse me. But this is where, for the first few years especially, the majority of our ITOA program will be run out of. This is Mr. Scott's room. I'm not sure if he's going to show it to us, but we also have a lot of Spheros, which are the programmable robots. And yes, this is Mr. Scott bragging about his wonderful view he has in his classroom of what will in the future be our entrance and athletic fields. They are currently working on taking down what is the old middle school right now, and that will be where the buses come in and drop our students off. Bless Mr. Wachter, who forgot to mute his mic. As we move around, again, you can see the learning spaces that are available for our students in the ITOA program. We are prepared and have the full support of the Harford County Public Office of Technology to utilize what we need and to prepare our students for a future in working in the computer industry. Members of our parent advisory committee for the program are also members of Otis. Mr. Scott's showing us some lovely wall here. So I hope you get an idea of what our new building looks like. We would have loved to have you come in and see how beautiful it is. And as soon as all of this is over, we will happily have you in to see the great learning spaces that we have. I'm happy to talk to you all. I'm glad you all are here. And at this time, I'm going to not show the video again. I'm going to go ahead and kick it back over to Mr. Scott.
Thank you for that excellent tour, Mr. Spence. That is, you did that 10 times better than I ever could have. So thank you for taking that on. So now I want to just, Mr. Reynolds kind of mentioned at the beginning, but I really want to brag about the staff that we have working at the building. Yes, you will only probably have 1 or 2 computer science teachers, but all of these staff members bring together your whole entire educational experience. You can see that several teachers have won several awards in the community. We have a Teacher of the Month. We've got a little belt that Mr. Bain is holding right there in the top center. And that is something that kind of gets passed around the school, and we just kind of brag on our teachers for just doing such a great job. We are really excited to hopefully get a picture in front of our new building once the middle school is down. We're not quite sure. It might be, we might have to stand 6 feet apart, so our picture might be really, really wide here for this year, but that's okay. So now what I want to do is I want to move on and show a quick video on why programming is important.
As a 4-year-old, I had to live through a Islamic revolution, totalitarian regime, war with Iraq, and bombings every night in our city. So not a great childhood. Probably the most important thing that happened to me in my childhood was when my dad bought myself and my twin brother our first computer. He didn't bring us any software or any games, and we were in Iran, so he couldn't buy any of that stuff. So I learned how to basically program a computer from the manual. Because I knew how to do computer programming, I ended up getting a chance to build Internet Explorer, which is used by billions of people. I had the chance to invest in Dropbox and Facebook. These things made a major difference in my life. The delta between jobs and students is roughly 100,000 jobs a year, more jobs than students studying computer science. Over 10 years, that adds up to 1 million jobs. And if you add up the salaries, it's over $500 billion that basically our industry wants to pay to these graduates, but graduates don't exist. Our population needs to be ready for the 21st century, and the vast majority of our schools don't even teach the skill. This is a field that leads to the best paying jobs in the country. It is the degree that if you graduate with, you have the highest chance of graduating with a job and the highest salary possible. Code.org started as a hobby for me. I wanted to make a short movie that combines some of the smartest, most famous geeks of the world, along with regular world celebrities, talking about the importance of learning computer science and how it can change your life and how it's important for our world. This video resonated with millions of people. It struck a real chord, and the response was so overwhelming that my hobby's now turned into a full-time job. For Code.org's success is about 2 things. Every school in the United States teaches computer science, and every single student gets some exposure to it. Be able to add trillions of dollars to the economy, millions of jobs, as well as helping reduce the inequality gap by allowing the underprivileged kids to have a pathway to the best jobs in the country. And it's not just about the jobs you can get or the salaries, it's about learning that if you build something, you have a dream, you can spread that dream to other people, and that changes the world.
And so as this video illustrates, computer science is an insanely important field that is definitely up and coming. We find more and more opportunities for our students to get engaged in computer science. So now we would like to talk about where did this program come from? So it was about almost 8-10 years ago when the plans were put into place to build a new Havre de Grace. And in order to justify it, they went to central office and they were thinking through, okay, what program does this community need? What program can be offered to Harford County? And one of the first things that popped into their mind was computer science. So Thus began a set of dominoes that would eventually lead to the ITOA program. There were many different contenders with what we were going to do with this program. There's already a cybersecurity program at Harford Tech. So how is this program going to be different yet still meet the needs of our students and the needs of our community? And so thus we landed upon Oracle Academy. Oracle Academy has been investing in student education for many, many years. They offer all of their educational resources to teachers completely for free. They make absolutely nothing from offering this to schools. And so they've really put together this wonderful curriculum. And there are two paths that actually our current freshman, Chloe, is going to describe for us in this short video.
Hi, my name is Chloe Gautier, and I'm a part of the class of 2024, which will also be the first class to go through the Information Technology Oracle Academy program here at Harford Grace High School, or the ITOA program. One of the classes that the ITOA program offers is Database Foundations. Currently in Database Foundations, we're learning the basics and how to set up databases, and also the business rules that go along with them. Another class that we have is Java Fundamentals, where currently we're learning how to code the basics in Java, which will be very necessary for any computer science job in the future. And then, once you're in your junior year of high school, you are offered either the chance to go and take college classes at Harford Community College, or to go and get an internship in the computer science field somewhere in Harford County. I hope that you all consider this program. It's really an amazing program, and I hope to see you all there in the future.
Thanks so much for sharing that with us, Chloe. And so now we have our curriculum overview. As Chloe had mentioned, there are these two different pathways that our students explore. One is Java Fundamentals, or Java Programming, and the other one is Database Foundations, or the Database track. With these two different tracks, we're really preparing our students to step into any computer science field that they are interested in. It really opens up opportunities for students. Once you have the understanding of Java programming, you understand what object-oriented is, how you create objects, how you manipulate them. This is the basic foundation of many apps, many websites. There are plenty of different applications that can be applied to this. And knowing this programming language is great because now you have the underlying foundation for learning any other computer language. So if you want to now go learn Python, C++, whatever you want to learn, you now already have the tools right there at your fingertips. You just have to learn a different way of writing out the code. For database foundations, many companies around the world require databases to store information. You think of the largest companies in the world, Alphabet or Google, Amazon. Those companies have massive amounts of databases and massive amounts of storage capabilities, and they need people to manage all of those. Even all the way down to small businesses, they often require someone to manage their database so that way they can keep track of their inventory, keep track of employees, whatever it might be. Databases are foundational in business today. And so now what I want to do is I want to show you what a potential 4-year schedule will look like. In this 4-year schedule, one of the first classes that you will take is a class called AP Computer Science Principles. And actually, Mr. Hitchcock, who's been helping me out with some technical difficulties on my end, is here, and he's going to now step in and speak about AP Computer Science Principles. Mr. Hitchcock.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. Very happy and excited to be here. So, like Mr. Scott said, I teach AP Computer Science principles here at the high school, and this class has kind of been my saving grace in all of this this year's chaos, I would say, because realistically, we've been going kind of without a hitch. It's been a pretty good class to have in this time. So, last period every day, I do get a little break, and it feels like some real learning's happening. So, just to kind of go through basically the breakdown of the course, it's through code.org is how we run this. And that is a Microsoft curriculum. So I went through training on it about 2 years ago. I've been teaching the course for 2 years now. And this can actually act as an FOT alternative for your students. So I know we're here for our program, but this is actually offered anywhere in the county. And it does help a lot. What we go over in this course is critical thinking, all right, collaboration and logic mainly. And how we do it, we kind of outline it more towards the applications as well. So basically the course outline, we start with digital information and the internet, and then we get into app and web design. And I really like how Microsoft uses the curriculum because you're working mainly exclusively through their own app lab. So it's their proprietary software, and it really works good for an education setting because they can kind of trial and error and play around with it. Then we get into more of the coding basics. That's going to be your functions, loops, variables. And then we do get into some algorithms and parameters, kind of leading you into the rest of the program here. This course does end with an AP College Board test. It has two different components to it. There's a create task. They actually got rid of the explore task on it. And now they're replacing that with more of a data, cybersecurity, and global impact, which for me, I think I like that one a little better. But that's basically all I have for you. Just here to introduce myself. Again, I'm Mr. Hitchcock, and very nice to meet everyone.
Thanks, Mr. Hitchcock. I appreciate it. So, and as he said, this is a course that's offered all around the county. So if you do not get into this program, ask your guidance counselor about taking AP Computer Science Principles. It's a wonderful course, and again, Mr. Hitchcock spelled it out wonderfully. It is a great opportunity for you to get exposure to computer science, even if you're not in our program. So now I want to go through kind of what a potential schedule might look like. You will notice that your freshman year is pretty packed. And even your sophomore year is pretty packed. The reason that we do that, we offer one database course and one Java course your freshman year, and then another Java course and another database course, database design, your sophomore year. The reason we're doing this, we are front loading the content that you need to know to open up opportunities for your junior and your senior year. As you can see in your junior and senior year, you still have to take your math, your science, your English credits, but now you start to open up your schedule, and now there's 4 slots where you can now put in college credit courses at HCC. You can take, or you can participate in an internship, and I'll be talking about our partners here in just a little bit. And even by your senior year, again, your schedule begins to open up, and now you can go in and participate in an internship for the entire year. Maybe at the beginning, it's just kind of getting your feet wet, getting to work alongside some computer programmers. And then by the end of your senior year, you're now working on large projects that no one else could be working on. And so this is a really, really unique opportunity. And this is why we front load that content early on, so that you are then prepared for those college courses. You're prepared for that internship your junior and your senior year. I do want to mention that we do have some other upper level courses. You might have seen in the previous PowerPoint that there were 3 different classes going the database and Java track. And there are those upper level courses that you could possibly take as an elective as well. So now what I would like to do is now step into our the courses that are offered at HCC. As you can see from this giant list, there are many different opportunities at HCC. And one thing that is absolutely great, our school system is moving in a direction where we're making online learning at HCC more possible. And so these courses here, you will be able to take either in person, you can go to HCC, or you can take online at Harford Grace while you are actually physically in the building. And what this does, it offers you opportunity to take some classes that we wouldn't even begin to offer. We can't begin to offer Introduction to Linux. We can't begin to offer community operating systems. So it really opens up your possibilities, and you get to explore whatever you want to your junior and senior year. Here's the list of practically any course that you could possibly take. You may have noticed there's a few stars next to a few of those, and that's just because you need to take some sort of course prior to that one. There are prerequisites in order to take those courses. But as we continue to work with the college, we'll be able to explore what options you have. And if you decide to go the full, I'm just taking courses at HCC, that is great. That is a great opportunity. You might even be able to get a full semester under your belt by the time you leave high school of college credits. If you decide not to go that route, you could decide to go our internship route. Our internship route, we have different partnerships with many different organizations in the area. A few of these organizations, I'll let you just read what they are, but I want to single out a couple of them. The Army Research Laboratory, I've had the opportunity over this summer to work closely with one of the individuals that works there, and she works on a supercomputer on a regular basis. And she is actually using a supercomputer to help keep soldiers safe. And so this is an opportunity. You have a chance to see this supercomputer. You have a chance to work alongside colleagues that work with a supercomputer on a regular basis. We also have partnerships with smaller businesses in the area, and that list is continuing to grow. Like I said, Harford Grace is a wonderful area that has a lot of startup companies. And those startup companies need databases. And so this is an excellent opportunity to be able to jump in and to actually get hands-on experience managing a database. So this is probably one of the most unique things that's offered in the county. There aren't too many programs that can offer these level of internships, not like the ones that you can get here at the Information Technology Oracle Academy. So now what I want to talk about is what type of students do we see and what are their students going to have when they leave our program? Well, last year we had about 115 applicants come in, and with different numbers and circumstances, we have 30 students this year. However, we will be accepting 50 students this coming year. They come from every single middle school in the county, and we even have, I believe, 1 or 2 students that came from being homeschooled or doing online school. And after you leave this program with all of the courses that you've taken, you will be prepared to enter a field in computer science. There are some certifications that you get along the way in these classes. Those certifications are excellent opportunities for you to get internships. They might not be full-on certifications or to get a job just yet, but it opens doors to have those opportunities. And the last thing is you're going to have career connections. If you decide to go the college route, you'll be connected to professors that are actually working in the field. If you decide to go the internship route, you'll be connected with individuals that are working in computer science. And maybe they might be able to work with you and develop some sort of plan so you can come back to work for their company and you already have a job offer before you even have your degree. So there are definitely some major advantages for our students that are in this program. Now, I want to get into some finer details and talk about the application and talk about our timeline, just to clear up any misconceptions that are out there. So make sure if you are deciding to apply for our program, make sure that you apply online by December 1st of this year. Do not wait until the last moment is my recommendation. We always seem to have a couple of students hitting that submit button right before that 12 o'clock deadline. And like I had said earlier, we accept about 50 students each year. And so with 115 applicants, there is a degree of competitiveness inside of this program. What you can expect from our end. Once we receive your application, you'll receive confirmation. We've received your application and we are now currently considering it. The first round of notifications will go out prior to winter break. What this is, are you meeting the requirements of our program? There aren't really major requirements, like I said earlier, but what it is, we take all of our students and we compare them with everyone who's applied. And so we kind of set up, all right, we think these students will be successful, and we see, all right, these students, what they've shown us in middle school with their activities list, with their GPA, they're showing us they might not quite be ready for this program. Then when your second quarter grades come out, we will get those grades. If you're in HCPS school, you have no need to worry. Those grades will automatically be submitted to us. If you happen to be in a public school or I'm sorry, a private school or homeschooled, those grades would then need to be sent to us, and I'll be reaching out if there's any problems. And then you can accept the final acceptance of the second week of February. Once you get that notification, you'll have about 2 weeks or so to give us your intent. Do you intend to come to our program? You might not be fully accepted into the program. You might be put on our wait list. If that happens, don't fret. I will say everyone that was put on the wait list last year was eventually offered a position. So take that to heart, that even if you don't get in the first round, that's okay. All communication is going to be going through email, so just make sure that your parent email and your student email are both correct, and you check them frequently as information comes out. And so now, what do we look for? I've kind of already hinted at this. What we do is we take all of our students that have applied and we just compare you to one another. What students do we think are going to be successful in this program, and what students do we think aren't going to be successful? So here are the few of the criteria that we look at. First thing we look at is attendance. Are you showing up to school? Are you there physically? I know in this digital learning environment, attendance has been definitely different, but we're still expecting you to be engaged through this online learning environment. The next thing is your activity list. And this is probably one of the biggest things that I think students miss out on. Students are you're involved in tons of different activities, from small things to large things. If you volunteered for an hour at some festival a year ago, that should be on your activity list. If you participate in some sport or club, that should be on your activity list. Really go back through, look at your calendars, get your parents together, get anyone that you've worked alongside, get them together and really brainstorm. Make sure that you are fully detailed in your activity list. What the activity list shows us, it shows us that this is a student who can manage different activities and still perform well in school. The next thing is the essay. We have seen some wonderful essays come through, and then we've seen some not so wonderful essays. Your essay should convey passion for the subject. If you're not interested in this program, I would encourage you to apply to other programs. But if computer science, computers, databases, technology is something that you're interested in, let that show in your essay. Parents, we would love for you to prove and assist your student in small ways, but we don't want you writing said essays. So please leave it to the kids to convey what they are interested in. The next thing that we look at are teacher endorsements. Since we are in an online learning environment, we have opted to go back and get those endorsements from your 7th grade teachers. Mr. Limpert at the original open house for all of the magnet programs already alluded to this plan, and I believe all of the questions were answered, but I'll real quick go through a few. If you weren't in HCPS, then what's happening is a survey is going to go out to your current teachers, and they will then fill that information out. If you were in another school last year, information or that survey will go out so that we can get a kind of a feel or how are you as an academic student. This is a question that's often asked: can a coach or a mentor give an endorsement? And the reason we say no is because we want to see how is the student academically. Next thing we take a look at is GPA and the rigor of student schedule. In computer science, we see a correlation between math courses and doing well in computer science. So if you are in geometry right now in 8th grade, then we know that your math sense is doing pretty well. And so we tend to see there's a lot of logic-based concepts in computer science. So if you can grasp proofs and you can grasp why this triangle is congruent to that triangle, then that translates very, very well into computer science. So often those students that have taken those higher level math courses are given a little bit more weight, but that does not exclude anyone. We have students in our program right now who are in algebra and performing very, very well. So math courses alone are not an eliminator. We will accept every single application that is submitted, regardless of the math course that you are in. And the last thing that we look at, and this is again after that first round of cuts, your second quarter grades. Are you maintaining your grades throughout? Or was this just for show for you to do well in the first quarter, do well at the beginning here for the application to go out? So we want to take a look at what those second quarter grades are as well. So now I want to talk one more time about transportation. Again, Mr. Limpert was generous enough to talk about this. Since we are a magnet program, we utilize depot spots at high schools. So if you attend Patterson Mill or you would go to North Harford, whatever school you would normally attend, you can pick up a transportation there completely for free to get transported to Havre de Grace. When you're accepted, we will go through those details and you'll find out what time do I need to be there and whatnot. So now I want to go through some general frequent asked questions that I hear. So our first one is, how is this program different from cybersecurity at Harford Tech? How is it different from Science and Math Academy? How is it different from PTAC? So I would like to speak to each program individually. Harford Tech is a cybersecurity program and their curriculum is focused around Cisco. They have a direct partnership with the college and they're able to get certifications through the college as well. Cybersecurity is another fantastic computer science field. They're just focused in the computer science realm, whereas we are focused in Java programming and database management. The Science and Math Academy has several different computer science courses that you can take while you are there. And I jotted a few of them down: computer-aided design, cryptography, robotics, biotech, algorithm development. So all of these courses, they build well into the Science and Math Academy's curriculum. They will definitely tout that they have students that go there for computer science as well. And so they do offer some great courses. But again, we really focus in on Java programming and database management, whereas they kind of offer tastes of different things within the computer science field. And the last program is PTAC, which is the new program at Joppatown High School. And what that is, the PTAC program is meant to get your associate's degree while you're still in high school. And they do offer internships towards the latter half of your senior year. And we are actually working with similar partners. So you might get a similar experience. But again, at PTAC, they're focused on getting you through your associate's degree. They're not necessarily focused in on Java programming or database management. So those are the main differences between all of our different programs. I would highly encourage, if technology is your route, you should be applying to these to these programs and our program. So pick what 3 you are most interested in and put in that application. All right. So our next question. I play an instrument. I play in sports. I participate in XYZ. Can I continue to do that all 4 years of high school if I'm in this program? Mr. Wachter mentioned this at the beginning. He had said that students in this program, they are active, they are engaged. You should have seen some of the activity lists for our students that are here. They are very, very active. So can you continue to do this? Yes, absolutely. With proper time management, good skills in managing your time and your resources, you can totally manage this. A lot of people might ask, well, do I have a ton of homework? Well, right now in this learning environment, there isn't too much homework, but you may have to take time when we're in person to crack down and get studying on certain concepts in order to be prepared for what's coming up next. So can you continue other things outside of this program? Absolutely. But again, you are going to this program for Information Technology Oracle Academy. You're going here to learn about information systems and to learn about Java programming. And so if your instrument or your sport or something is in the way of that, we need to definitely sit down with Mr. Wachter, with Miss Malley, and see how can we manage our time better so we are successful. And the last question, and probably my favorite question that I get asked, this program's probably filled with just a bunch of boys who like to play video games in their spare time, right? Well, I'm not gonna lie, today in class, we were having a very civil discussion about video games. However, that is not the focus of this program. Our focus is around Java programming and database management. And so, yes, there are a few students that are very interested in video games and interested in becoming video game programmers. And that is a great track to go in, but that's not the only thing that is offered here. Mr. Spence said throughout the tour, he mentioned that we have some unique devices, a little device called a Sphero. And what this Sphero can do, you can program it and you can move it around and you can actually make it move around the map. And so we have literally 60 of these in our school. And so it's just another unique way that you can learn computer science. So no, I would not say that this program is like focused around video games, or if you're interested in video games, that's great, but that is not the only thing that is offered here. All right. So now we are going to go into our question and answer, which Mr. Spence is going to help us out with. Before we take any questions, I want to give everyone an opportunity. Please go check out these resources. Oracle Academy's website kind of gives another general overview of what this program is about. If you're interested in finer details, how do I apply, what is the criteria or anything like that, go to hcps.org/magnet programs. And if you're interested in learning more about the possible courses that you can take at HCC, I would like to encourage you to click on that link right there and go to HCC's website where there's more course descriptions. If you have any questions that don't get answered this evening, my contact information is listed on the right side. Mr. Spence, do we have any questions?
Okay, absolutely. We have a few coming in. Our first question of the evening is, what is the minimal length, or is there a minimum length of your essay?
That is a wonderful question. Short answer, it is completely up to you. Whatever you think is needed to fully convey your interest in the program, that is required. I've had students write 2 or 3 sentences, and I've had students write full pages and pages in their essay. So it is completely up to the student. Again, parents, feel free to proofread and edit your students' work, but let them take ownership of their essay.
A second question we have is, in our time at Harvard Grace, we get to choose if we continue with HCC learning or get an internship. If we choose the internship, do we get paid, or is it a voluntary act?
That is a wonderful question as well. So there are opportunities for paid internships with the individuals that we are working with. Now, I will say these are through grants that are dependent on the organization. So it is not coming out of HCPS at all. It would be up to the organization to offer money for your internship. And a lot of it will depend on what are your requirements when you're at this. Do you just want to kind of dip your toe in the water and pop around to different local businesses? Or do you want to get invested in an organization and really get some hands-on experience? One thing that I failed to mention early on, or when we were talking about our partners, a lot of our partners come from APG. In order to work at APG, you need to have a security clearance. So when you apply to this program, eventually, if you're going to go that internship route, you will have to go through a background check. And we're going to teach you the skills necessary in order to keep that background check active, to keep that slate clean so you don't run into trouble further on down the line. And so this is, again, a unique opportunity for our students to be able to explore. I believe there are some of these internships that can even extend into the summer. I know that there are special programs offered at APG that you can apply for that are paid internships. Great question.
We have another question. If you have already done code.org CSP and have worked with Java Eclipse, would that help your chances of getting accepted to the program?
Yes, so I would definitely want you to include that either in your essay or in your activity list. If there are any computer science camps that you've gone to, any robotics camps, any electronic camps, anything that you've done with the computer science field, make sure you mention that, make sure you include it. Again, we compare you with all of your peers. If you already have done a little bit of computer science work, then okay, you then stand out as a person that has definitely showed interest in this field. If you haven't done any of those things, that's still okay. When you step into the program, we start from scratch. We start as if you don't know anything about programming yet, and we will work with you to build up those skills. So maybe at the beginning, you might see some of your peers start to pull away and wow, that's just because they've been doing it a little bit longer. You will get there. Another great question. Thank you.
We had a question regarding do you do coding, and I think we've already kind of answered that is kind of the whole process and the whole purpose of our program. But we do have, before you enter the magnet program, do you have to know anything in particular to get in? Basically, are there any prerequisites besides your grades and things like that?
So yes, there are no, sorry, I should rephrase that. No, there are no real prerequisites. The only thing that we mention is we prefer if you've taken Algebra 1 already. But again, I have students right now in our program that are currently in their 9th grade year in algebra, and that's okay. They're doing great in the program. There aren't really any like bare minimum requirements. I know for the SMA, you have to take geometry before you go in. That's not like us at this program.
Excellent. As we continue down, I can kind of answer this question. Your slide only mentions Spanish as an elective. Do you offer other languages as well? At this time, Havre de Grace High School only offers a Spanish language course. We have small numbers of faculty and can only offer that at this time. So currently, in this year, we are only offering Spanish as a language choice. We have, do you know the acceptance rate of four-year schools accepting the college credit earned by the program students, particularly students pursuing a STEM program at the four-year college level?
That is a spectacular question as well. And honestly, I do not know what the exact percentage is that will accept credits from HCC. I would imagine, and Mr. Wachter would probably be a better person to answer this question, but unfortunately, I think he had some family business to attend to, so he might not be able to answer it. But it really depends on the university that you're going to. I believe there are a lot of state schools in Maryland that will accept those credits, and then there are some schools outside, some private some private colleges that will not take those. If that person who asked that question would love to send me an email, I will gladly look into that and I can get a more accurate answer for you.
Following along, are there any classes on game development offered as an elective?
Great question. As of right now, no, we do not have a game development. We do not have a game develop class. However, I will say in computer science principles, one of the major projects is you get to program whatever you want. That can totally be a game. And right now in Java fundamentals, we are working with a program called Alice. This is a 3D environment where you can program characters, you can program scenes, or you can actually program games inside of this program. So really it kind of depends how you view this. We don't have a course dedicated to game development, but it is definitely sprinkled about in our curriculum currently offered.
I'll also piggyback on that, Mr. Scott. I know you've got a lot going on. We also offer our computer science club, which could give you the opportunity to work on coding of apps and games and working with Raspberry Pis, which runs separately from the program because any student can be a member of it. But we've had that running for a few years now with some outside help from some community partners, and it has done a wonderful job of providing students an extra opportunity to use their computer skills.
And if I could take and piggyback even further off of Mr. Spence's piggyback, for those of you that aren't familiar, Raspberry Pis are essentially just mini computers, for those of you that might not be familiar with it. And so you can do some really, really unique stuff. And this is what we've done in the computer science, in our computer science club. We've put sensors onto what's called a breadboard, and we've gotten information off of that sensor. And so there's lots of different things that we can do in the computer science club that extend past the classroom. So I'm not sure if there are too many other high schools that offer computer science clubs, but I would definitely make that a factor. Does the school that you're going to encourage that creativity, encourage you growing past what you're learning in the classroom?
Few more questions, Mr. Scott. Can you focus on both Java and database management, or is it one or the other?
Great question, and I'm sorry if I didn't make that clear throughout the presentation. You will be going through both tracks. So it's not you just pick database, it's not you just pick Java. You are going through both. And the reason we do that is to prepare you for those college classes your junior and senior year, or that internship your junior and senior year. So we know that with Oracle's curriculum and what we're teaching you, these skills are very, very applicable in the computer science field, which is why we've decided to go this route.
Excellent. We have someone's looking forward to internships. When we choose our internship, do we get our transportation straight to the job area, or is it from the school to the area? For example, my father works in APG. If we would go straight there, we could ride together.
That is an excellent question as well. And I would say that a lot of that is still in the process of being figured out. Right now, we only have our freshman class, so we don't have any students right now in internships. The way that our community partners, and we have been talking about this content, it is often a lot easier to meet virtually sometimes. So sometimes you will be able to meet and participate in your internship inside of the school building. Other times you might have to travel there. That is a finer detail yet to be worked out. We have not necessarily committed either way on whether you would have to transport yourself or if we could provide transportation, and that's something that we will know hopefully in the next couple of months. So if that is a question you would like, send me in an email and I'll kind of keep that in the back of my mind. The moment I have an answer, I can shoot that out to you.
Another question we have is, are there more languages than Java in the program? And if so, what type of languages?
That's another great question. So Mr. Hitchcock had mentioned that in AP Computer Science Principles, they use something called AppLab, which is very similar to a Scratch language, a drag and drop block language. Outside of that, in database, we do learn SQL or SQL, and that is used in managing databases. That could be considered a computer language because you are communicating with different databases. But outside of that, I know when I was teaching AP Computer Science Principles, I taught Python. And so I know that that is another wonderful different programming language that you can learn. And one of which our colleagues, our partners at the Army Research Lab, they really love to see students that know Python. So maybe towards the end of the year in our courses, we will be able to kind of get a taste of those different computer languages. Or if you step into the computer science club, we can pursue other languages as well. Also, if you go back and you view this video later on and you see that giant list of courses that you can take at HCC, there are other languages there. I'm pretty sure there was C++ and there was Python on that list that you can possibly take through the college. So short answer, at our school, maybe not necessarily, but the opportunities are there to learn the other language. And again, once you learn one language, picking up another one is pretty easy.
Another question is, do you teach any basics about big data and data movement?
Yes, absolutely. So when we are in our database course, what do databases typically manage? They are typically managing large amounts of data. And so this is definitely a concept that we will be discussing. Will we get hands-on with large data sets? That's honestly to be determined. This is where our community partners can step in, and in your internships you can begin to explore these. And I believe there were a few college courses at HCC that does cover those big data concepts. It's a fascinating field and definitely is an extension of what we are doing inside of this program.
Okay, we have another question. If we know Java already, can we opt out of that class and take another class in its place?
That is another great question, and I would say no to that. And the reason is we don't really have an opportunity as of right now to test out of that. And what we do is we kind of start the basics, and okay, maybe at the beginning of the course you might find yourself, I already know this. Why is this important? Well, there's two things that you can do. One, it's a really good refresher, and to make sure that you have a solid foundations of the basic. If you don't have that solid foundation, everything can crumble. If you go through this course, we will know that you have that solid foundation. The other thing that you can do is in class, we're always encouraging students to collaborate and help one another out. So maybe you're like, all right, I am good with this concept, but I recognize my neighbor over there isn't. And so now, all right, I can work with them and I can help share that knowledge that I know with them. And that is another excellent skill that computer scientists really need. They need to be able to collaborate. They need to be able to communicate exactly what they're doing. There is a computer science meme that is often shared about on people explain how this works, and they're just like, it does because I imported this and I don't really know. So the computer science field, even if you have a solid grasp on some concepts, you can definitely know more and you can definitely assist those around you.
A few more questions coming in here, Mr. Scott, and I can answer this next one. What are the opportunities for band and other musical students? We did cover it a little bit earlier. We offer a full range at Harvard Grace High School of musical opportunities. We have jazz band, we have multiple, we have symphonic, we have marching band, we have multiple chorales, we have women's chorus, men's chorus, chorale, We have magical singers. We offer musicals that are well received in the spring. Our musical program is a very large one for a smaller school, and we offer the opportunity for any student to get involved in what they're interested in. One thing the administration at Harvard Grace High School really prides itself on is making sure that students are able to participate in things they enjoy so that they can continue to enjoy coming to our building.
Mr. Spence, I have a couple of things to add with that as well. As you saw on the virtual tour, everything is brand new in our music wing. Everything. Instruments, uniforms, pianos, keyboards. I mean, we have a state-of-the-art piano lab, as well as, and this hasn't been mentioned yet, a state-of-the-art TV room where we're going to be teaching classes on broadcast journalism, and we're going to be able to put our morning announcements on TV. But something else about Havre de Grace, Havre de Grace is, it's a great town, and we have a lot of partnerships with the local fine arts community in our town. Like, for example, our chorus and our band play downtown. We have a new theater that was pretty much built, renovated a couple years ago. And so Mr. Hoff and Mr. Trey Montana, you get involved in chorus, band, they will get you to travel. Every couple of years they go to Florida to Disney, go to New York City for parades, Philadelphia for parades. So they really we have a lot of pride in our band, and not only will you perform locally, but they'll take you around all over the country to perform.
Next question we have is, do we receive devices that can be brought home for homework related assignments? If not, what is the software that is needed on our home computers? I will state, as the computer kind of guy at the school, that we are a one-to-one school. Students all receive devices to take home and transport back and forth between schools. Prior to our COVID shutdown, we actually were going to be the first completely one-to-one school in the county. But then with the need for virtual and distance instruction, every school became a one-to-one school this year.
Yes.
Mr. Scott, did you want to take over about any specific software or anything?
Yes, absolutely. So the most heavily intense software that we use is Alice. The actual program's Alice 3. You can go online right now on your computer and download it yourself. And you can already begin to kind of mess around with it. It's really just a drag and drop sort of environment that you are working in. And because it is a 3D environment, it does require a lot of computing power. Today was actually our first day using the Alice program, and there were a few students that had a little bit of difficulty. So we definitely, the original plan, as Mr. Spence had said, the computer science magnet would have computers that are above your average student's computers in order to manage this software. We're hoping that as we begin to return to some sort of sense of normalcy, we will get those computers and we will be able to then use them inside of the program. Other software that we use an online learning environment called Giroux. We use Oracle's database management software, which is also free to download. Eventually, we will graduate to a program called Eclipse. That is a professional, what we call an IDE, or integrated development environment, that students can use. And this is exactly the type of program that computer scientists are using around the world. And so it's really neat that we get the opportunity to use this type of software. And the last software that I'll speak about is a program called Greenfoot. And Greenfoot, I wish I'd mentioned when game development was asked. Greenfoot, it can be used to develop games, typically two-dimensional games. I do a a whole entire unit on essentially creating this game. You move this sprite around, you collect different things, and it's one of those foundational skills that's important in game development. So software, Alice, Greenfoot, Eclipse, and then Oracle's database software are the main softwares that we use.
Okay, a few more here coming in. Will we be working with UI or will we be working with the console?
UI or the console. So we typically work with, all right, so let's talk about what a UI is and talk about console. When you open up a console, you are essentially working in what's called the command prompt, right? You are then opening up that. We typically do not program in that. Our computers, obviously they're from HCPS, and so there are certain levels of security that you need to have with these devices. So there's not a terrible amount that you can do inside of that. So we almost always use UIs where we are using some sort of other application to run our code. And the softwares that I had mentioned earlier are those user interfaces that we use.
Excellent, thank you. Looking back, it says, do you have a robust art department? Mr. Reynolds, do you want to talk about the art department?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Spence. Our art department, now think about Havre Grace High School. We're a small school, 700 students, but we offer virtually everything else the other schools in the county offer. A wide variety of AP classes, AP art classes, you name it. Miss Zimmerman is an outstanding art teacher. And like I say, we have a brand new school, brand new art supplies. I mean, you walk up there and it's all state-of-the-art materials, brand new pottery wheels. We offer everything up to, from fine art prep all the way to AP art classes. And it's just like the newest materials. And Miss Zimmerman, just like we talked about our community, we are a community school. All our students, we get involved with local art shows. Put our students' art in display. And if you're familiar with downtown Havre Grace, it's full of galleries and antique stores, and we display our students' art there. So I would say yes, it's very robust, tremendous amount of opportunities. Our students, we've had students that win awards through art, and we also have a handful of local patrons in Havre Grace that sponsor art shows, and will put our students up in their businesses. So to answer your question, it's very robust.
Thank you. Looking on, we have a question regarding artificial intelligence. Do you teach students about anything artificial intelligence related, like languages used to program them?
It's a great question as well. So I would say Java can totally be used in artificial intelligence. So short answer, yes. Do we actively program artificial intelligence or things that can manage different things in this course? Not necessarily. However, we're giving you those skills necessary to help develop artificial intelligence. There's a project that we complete in our Java course where you create a chat bot, and this is essentially you type in a sentence, and then the computer responds to that, and all of the responses are automated, and there's certain tests that can be given to these chatbots, and we call it the Turing test. And so this is one level of artificial intelligence that we begin to dabble in, but I would not say that we are exclusively covering an artificial concept. Again, in Mr. Hitchcock's class in AP Computer Science Principles, artificial intelligence is something that is talked about, and we're talking about the ethical dilemma that comes with what do we do when we're handing over all of our banking systems, all of our HR requirements, all of these different jobs to artificial intelligence. So it is a concept that is talked about and a concept that we will touch on, but is it fully covered probably in the way of where you're actually programming it? No.
Thank you. Do you teach any data science related concepts?
Yeah, so again, database can be fit underneath of that category. Data science, so in databases, what do you have in there? You have data. And data science is the process of taking information from that data. So do we teach data science concepts? Absolutely. That is something that would definitely be covered in our database foundations courses, and it is something that I think is a really great skill and just another branch of computer science to be explored when you leave this program.
Due to the security of HCPS devices, are we allowed to write our own code, personal, or must we refrain from doing that?
I would love for you to write your own code. I have students that are working in the applications that we've given them, and they've created their own projects. They've created their own scripts that do different things. One of our last projects was, hey, here's an idea, just run with it. What can you develop? Create your own question, create your own answer. And so, yeah, I want to encourage you to write your own programs, but we must do that in an ethical manner. One of the skills that we will begin to look about is proper programming. Are you programming to hurt someone? Are you programming for malicious intent? If that is the case, then no, we don't want you going that route. There are fields that are called blue hat hackers. Their job is literally to test systems. So they throw what they can at the system, and they'll go back to that company and go, we noticed you've got a problem with this, and this. That needs to get fixed. And so this is something that we call ethical hacking or blue hat hackers. And so this is, again, another branch of computer science that you can choose to explore. But are we going to teach you how you can hack into something, or not necessarily? So we always want our students to be ethical and responsible with their computer usage.
Thank you. Lastly, the last question we have right now is, how does this program stand out to colleges?
I would imagine this stands out fantastic because what you have experiences that no other program can offer. You're going to this program, you are put through rigorous computer science courses for your first 2 years, and then your junior and senior, you actually get to branch out and explore, whether that's internships or college courses. If college courses see that you are a part of this program and you see the rigor of courses that you are taking, and they see your essay where it talked about this internship where you actually got to work alongside a computer scientist that works with supercomputers, you are definitely going to stand out to colleges. This is an excellent program to put on college applications. And so I want to encourage anyone out there, if you are remotely interested in computers, technology, I would encourage you to please apply to this program. This is where I make my big sell and really hopefully grab that. Will you join us? There are many opportunities at the ITOA program. Question is, do you want to be a part of our program? So that's a question I would love to encourage you. Sit down with your parents tonight, talk about it, figure it out. And I would love to encourage you, if technology is a route, do apply to Science Math Academy, apply to PTech, apply to our cybersecurity program at Harford Tech. You would be happy at any of those positions, but I definitely think that we stand out when you take a look at all of the other programs that are out there.
Mr. Scott, can I add something real quick before we close about schools?
Absolutely.
Havre de Grace High School itself, without the magnet program, each year we average approximately 80% of our students going to college from our school. Recently, we've had students go as far west, the University of Arizona, University of Florida, and a number of our students go to University of Maryland, as well as UNBC. So we have really good connections to those schools, and a number of our graduates are already attending these schools. And I assure you, you go through this program with Mr. Scott and you have the computer science background, it'll open up a lot of doors for you.
So now thank you to everybody for joining us for the past hour and a half. It has been absolute pleasure to communicate this information to you. I want to encourage you, please explore the computer science field. If you don't apply to this program, find it elsewhere. There are amazing opportunities in the field of computer science. So again, thank you so much for everyone for logging in, and I hope everyone has a great week. Thank you.